let's have a look on rest of shamans. I will go through stats, I will go through talents, then priority or rotation, as you'd like to say it on. Damage or healer is different. Cooldown usage, doing damage obviously means do damage in plus. And I will also split this like in two parts, but not really. It will be like two builds, but they are really similar. They are just one main mechanic that is different. So I will just mention changes for other one on the end. So just click there if you want to check that. And what is different between that build? This other build have forset, new forset, not old one, and you are really want to use it. I mean, if you really want to use it, like 4-piece in dungeons, you need to play that. Hard to say what is meta now because so many people are playing still the old one. Maybe they are just used, maybe it's performing better, but I see so many players playing this the new set build. But it's definitely alright to play the basic one that is old from previous season push. It's performing well even if you have 4 pieces. Shaman 4 pieces is a little bit boring, so you can also avoid it completely and just play what is there. I would say it's a little bit simpler, but it's for you to decide. Main difference is you on this default one you are eating riptides with chains, and the other one you are spreading chains and healing, spreading riptides and healing through them, and that's the main difference. So let's check on the stats. Inside the dungeons, it's almost this for most of the healers. You are going full haste and full versa. That's your absolutely what do we need. Absolutely no mastery, and what is remaining is to the critical strike. Mastery is for shaman. You don't want to enter-raid, you don't want to enter dungeon. Just if you need to have some gear pieces or something, I have mastery on crafted shoes, so I have some, but you really want as low as possible. I have 500, yeah, I have the shoes and one more item. Thing is back, yeah. So as less as possible and remain to recruit. But you need to keep in mind, critical strike is top stat for the raid. So if you're raiding and progressing some raid and want to go and plus also a little bit push, it's nice to balance. So you idle stat there is like 5000 versatility, 3000 haste, 3000 critical, so we are good everywhere. Or like right now, even I have gear on me, I have rings with other enchants and stuff like that. So I'm trying to have haste. I still have so little, and my critical strike is so high because I'm focusing full on mythic progress. After we kill the last boss, I will be swapping to the M+ gear. So I will go more haste from the critical strike. So don't check my numbers. If you're raiding and also doing M+, just get full versa, at least 5000. And then just some balance between haste and critical. Also, critical strike is nice in dungeons if you have problems with mana. You shouldn't have, but if you have, you can go more critical than haste. But idle dungeon stats is 5000 haste, 5000 versa, you can little bit be over. Usually 5000 something is kept on the stat, and then you are getting less percentage. So I think like 5300 is always nice number and is still good. So just split up haste versa, mastery 0 if possible, and rest to critical strike. If you want balance, more for critical, or you need a little bit more mana, go more critical than others. From gear pieces, just get the stats you need, but trinkets are definitely Rashok. I have even normal is the best trinket you can have. Then is first guy from the first boss. This is more for healing. Like there, people will try more damaging trinkets, and you will see later. But it's hard to say because healers are literally different, and it's hard to say if a healer is better to have trinket for stats to do damage, or it's better to have trinkets that's actually doing damage for damage. So right now it's hard to say, but definitely like for healing overall, this is also increasing your damage. This is also increasing damage for a whole group. So this is still good one. So the one is from Rashok. This is rare from first boss, and it's also a good trinket is from Echo of Neltharion. So you should have 2 of these 3, and you are good. Long time, and also rings the old rings, Onyx, Annulet, they're still useful. And the best combo you can go to M+, it's Protected Lava Stone, they're Freezing Ice Stone, there is, oh, I prepared it here. Then I auto-sort it. I always click on that button. It's my ring, and here's my raiding ring. Yeah, here's my raiding one. I'm with critical, this is M+, I'm with haste. Here's a little bit haste, but it is what it is. So, definitely you need Protected Pilot Stone. For healing one, you are going for Excluding Steam, always. And you can play this one, Freezing Ice Stone. Usually better single target, or if you don't have critical strike, I have a lot of critical strike. So, in 45, it's even better to play Storm Infused Stone. Because it's hitting 2 targets and together damage is more, and is proccing by you critical striking. And as I have mythic gear, or raid gear, I mean, I have a lot of critical, so depend on you. If you have just one stone, this one is better. Obviously we can go full heal, and then you're going classic like in raid, dodging water stone, power space stone, and from the previous link you will take out Excluding Steam Stone. Oh, you can help too. Don't need to take out. Let's check the talents then. Right here is exactly the same as the previous season, and there's nothing, no variations. Every single dungeon you are playing this. There's some little tweaks, but there's like niche options, let's say that. But on the left tree you have a few options, because obviously there are utilities. Sometimes you need something more, sometimes you need something less. So very important, what you can choose here is Curse Dispel. So like Neltarus on the last boss, Curse Dispel is nice. Or Ulda Mana Trash when somebody don't interrupt or you don't have enough control. Then you need to just decurse that people, because that damage hurts and it's stun. Or think Poison Cleaning Totem, so like Wholesome Infusion for the frogs or frog boss, or definitely for the worm boss in Altarian's lair. Poison Cleaning Totem is doing a lot. And Purge, I just put it here to default, but also very useful just to get like shields down, like under Rot. There's a lot of shields there. Massive Spell is better, but maybe you don't have. And obviously, there's our path to Hex, and you're definitely playing Hex on that new one. Affix, and it's incorporeal, but because you need to CC it. So you can go there by Purge, or you can just pick something with the stance, but I usually picking Purge, even if I don't need it. Maybe I have mood to put something else. Nah. So here, these other choices. So Purge is needed essentially. Poison Cleaning Totem definitely depend on dungeon. There's Curse Dispel, and there's Hex for incorporeal affix. Also, you can use this is removes moving impairing effects that works for that routing affix, but I don't really felt the need on Shaman to do that. I would just always just run away. You are casting a lot of instants, even your damage are a lot of instants. I never had problem and never had need to sacrifice towns to get here. And if you are like looking some points to take, so you can pick this additional thing. So you can sacrifice speed. That's usually my first to go. Then you can sacrifice some defenses. This is just shorter defense cooldown, or you can shorten your totems. This is duration of totem, but this is a nice way to get Poison Cleaning Totem, because totem projection is absolutely useless for us. But you can save 1 point. But again, this is a little bit useful, so I'd rather put 2 points here than have something that I will never use and never need. And another two, you have reduce magic damage taken. It's nice to have, but if you are choosing between this one or Poison Cleaning Totem on Netalian's lair, you'll just definitely want other Poison Cleaning Totem than some percentage of defense. Yeah, so, and just skip the right tree. Right tree is nice enough. Talents for other builds, that would be everything together. On the end of this guide is just some differences, everything will be there. So let's hop on the priority list or rotation, usually priority list as the healer. So the first one is definitely our Air Shield. It got buffed a lot by 10.0.7. And since then, always keep it. One is on you, because it can be just on you. It's not like Life Blue Moon Druid. One shield need can be only on you. And the second is usual on tank. When you are getting AoE damage, just put in some squishy DPS. And obviously, if you know tank will survive, put in some squishy DPS. It's also, obviously is healing nicely now with these new buffs, new little bit few months old buffs. But also this decreasing damage taken is showing here is 6%. So when you have AoE or some ability like third boss in Ulduman that is a huge bleed, just put shield on the target, because 6% damage taken reduction it can save his life. So some DPS that is getting most damage from the group, like the only person in group that is getting the heavy bleed, for example, or just somebody who is squishy when you are getting AoE. Obviously when tank is alright, because when tank die usually some people will follow. But most of the time keep it on tank, usually on trash, because trash is mostly hitting tanks more than AoE. Depend. And tank definitely like that 6% damage reduction. You can feel it. So the next priority, like this shield, you are keeping it. Don't restack it when you need to heal. Just take it between the pegs. You see, oh, tank have 4 stacks. Okay, I will refresh because I'm between the pegs. I don't need mana. I don't need to do anything else. I'm just running and I need to use. I can use instant when I'm running. Just refresh the shield when you don't need to heal. Don't wait like 0 stacks. Because, oh, I wasted 2 stacks. Nah, just refresh it when you have time, and just so you can keep that global cooldown. You know, actually need to pump heal and want to use some other priority spells. And little bit similar with the Riptide, you want to be prepared with them, but they're also, when you're not getting much damage, you just start spreading the Riptides through the whole group. And there's no big signs there. And keep in mind, more than 50% of Riptide healing is instant. So 61,000, that was critical. You know, if you check the tooltip, it's 23,000 instant heal, and then it's 20,000 on 18 seconds. So it's worth it. If you want to heal someone, you don't want to spend more mana, and you are moving, and whatever. It's alright to click it twice. You'll get nice heals. Obviously, it's wasted, but we don't need to heal much, and some one person dying more. Just keep in mind, it's not a regular rejuvenation as Druid. You can just use it twice. Shouldn't, but it's alright. And you can do it as moving. What is important with the Riptide? There's very important mechanics. One of the flow to ties, and the other one is Deluge. And the third one is Tidal Waves. So Riptide is a simple spell, but there's most healing of Rest of Shaman is around the effects of Riptide. So let's start with the main important one, what we are healing about. And we are eating Riptide to get improved healing from Chain Heal. It's 30%. So that's why we need to have Riptide up. Other things what they're doing with Riptide. If somebody have Riptide, his healing increased by 20%. But we want to utilize that buff with this build with the Healing Rain. So when it's heavy AoE damage, everybody should stay in the rain to get 20% more healing from your chain heals. And this is most important, the Tidal Waves. Best to target with Vigavra, here is it. Tidal Waves, they are increasing critical chance for Healing Surge and reducing cast time for Healing Wave and Chain Heal. Obviously, we are most interested in Chain Heals. So, usually when we are pumping AoEs, want to use it twice and use it again. Just so you want to use it every 2 casts and also want to have it prepared before the damage. So it's always nice to keep some balance and just like keep one stack and spread other stacks. Okay, it's charging, I will have another stack, I will spread it on another target and just keep one stack, and then healing is coming. Oh, I used 2 charges and I don't have Riptide. Okay. We will use some slow heals, but you should have some Riptide ready. Also, it can compensate your Primordial Wave. But let's talk about Primordial Wave a little bit later, but it's our extra Riptide and it's costing even less mana. And his initial damage is a little bit bonus because he's healing like 8,000, 9,000, whatever. But it's some extra Riptide if you need. It's also giving every single bonus from Riptide, everything is popping. So usually I have use my Riptide charges and then I'm casting with Primordial Wave. But it depends. You can use it for damage. Just as filler. So with Riptide it's important, it's increasing healing on target, we are eating it with chains, and it's giving us that 2 stacks of faster casting of our chain heals. So it's a useful spell, and also it's pumping healing. So first damage come, just start spreading Riptide, even if damage is not coming, but it will be soon, just spread it, have it ready. Like dirt rejuvenations, just keep spreading on their group. So after we have shields, usually out of combat even, then we have Riptides on the targets, and then we can continue our priority before the damage. That's only good time. If you are timing some huge bursts like last boss Vortex Pinnacle, you know when Ad is spawning and damage is coming. So out spawn, you have some time before it starts exploding, you will cast Healing Rain on the target. And why you are doing that? Because obviously melee should be there and ranged should be really close. You want to have 20% increase of your chain heal. So that's most point of the rain casting for healing. Obviously you want to always have rain casted on cooldown because it's doing damage from the acid rain talent. But this is only, we don't heal with rain. We're using healing rain to empower our chain heals. So take it with that. Don't check, oh, I don't want to use healing rain on healing because it's not healing a lot. It's increasing your chain heal. It's 20%. So it's just for that. And usually when you need to really pump, you don't cast healing rain because the cast time is really long. So during burst damage, don't cast it, but before it's worth to cast it even for healing, even if it don't do any damage. Okay, and let's now get to the finally good healing spells. This is just some preparation. Riptide is good healing spell, but it's more like support. And it's getting his chain heal or healing surge. Let's start with healing surge because it's much easier. Single target is dying, I need to heal, I'm casting, that's it. Maybe on 2 targets, maybe, but usually on single target. And obviously we want 2 stacks and cast Riptide every 2 casts, so we can use that 30% increased critical strike. I should cast on dummy. You can see the numbers better than on my hitbox. Yeah, come on, let's increase critical. Show me. Yeah, that's the pump. The master is healing a lot because that's 1% health. How much I have? At 33%. Just a little. So not much here. If you need to heal a single target, use that. Sometimes you will get 50% increase heal from one duration. Undulati. Whatever. I never know how to say that. Okay, chain heal. That's our... When we're healing, we are using chain heals. How we are using chain heals? Obviously, you want to start, if you don't have high tide is every single off jump. Every single jump is healing the same as the first one. Because usually the heals are just decreasing. How much? Reduce 30% with each jump. But with high tide, it's healing everything same. So if you don't have high tide, you definitely want to target some priority target that have lowest health. But we are eating Riptides. So we want to target lowest health target that have a Riptide. That's our priority. So maybe somebody have a little bit lower, don't choose that, go for the Riptide. If you have high tide, just target somebody, even tank with the Riptide. Just target somebody with Riptide, because every single target will heal for same amount. And you have 5 targets, you have 5 jumps of chain heal. So there's no brainer, you will heal everybody same amount. So start somebody who is a Riptide. If you don't have high tide, go just lowest target with the Riptide. Because 30% increase. The other sneaky thing to keep track is Tidebringer. That's what changed our gameplay with Shamans. Absolutely huge boy. A huge challenge, a huge boy. And you should also track the stacks. So usually if you don't want to really push healing, you shouldn't cast chain heals without this. So it's worth to see. And also you shouldn't combine it with Nature Swiftness if you have these two stacks, because it is releasing time by 50% and Tileways is 20%. So instant when this is up, our Timebringer, just don't use it. So usually when we're casting chains, we want to cast on target with Riptide, lowest health as possible, if possible, and you want to have shorter cast, then shorter cast and jump distance, and last thing, high tide. It's nice to have some Vigavras. You can see here, it's not 100% correct, but usually is correct. Bam is shiny, you have two huge casts, everything 60, 60, 60, 40, 46, 46, 46, everything is getting healed by same amount. So chain heal is absolutely our first thing we are going to. I have everything from raid only. I cannot show you some damage numbers from dungeon, healing numbers. And what are the other abilities? There are healing wave. Healing wave and primordial wave. I like to talk about it together. If you are always use healing surge because it's faster and it's healing more. Arguable, but it's 30% increase chance. That always throw. On average should heal a little bit more. And it's faster, so we can use that spare time to heal more cast, or use other abilities, but usually you are doing damage in that spare time. So in dungeon, always healing surge because you should do damage in spare time, and you want to as much as spare time as possible because Shaman can really pump damage, but you need to have time for that. There's two occasions that this healing wave is good. You need to heal like 1-2 targets, and you are really bad with mana, and you are just oh, potion is used, I have nothing for mana, alright. So we will cast that healing wave. That should never happen. But what should happen with the healing wave is primordial wave. After we use primordial wave, we are getting shiny buff, and that means our next healing wave will also spread for next targets that have Riptide. So obviously, when I have Riptide spread, I will heal this dummy. Bam. Even they got critical. They got healed more than main target. So I healed a lot. Look guys. That was just 2 Riptides. On dummies, and one was on me. That was overhill. Yeah. Overhill. 50k. So that was 400k just from few Riptide clicks. Primordial wave and casting healing wave. So if you have a lot of stacks, what you shouldn't have with this build because you are eating it with chain heal. But if you have still at least 3 stacks, it's worth to cast healing wave. It's mana effective and it's healing a lot usually. And especially when you combine it with Nature Swiftness because healing wave is quite long. But this is mostly for other build because this default one, you are eating Riptides, you don't have Riptides. It's not really worth it. And basically all we are looking for, let's hop on the cooldowns. Our most, it's even bad to say it's cooldown, but it's cooldown because how long is 45-second recharge. But we are always playing with this, it's quite short cooldown. And obviously our Cloudburst, and definitely you should get Vigavra for that. I will link Vigavra for Cloudburst Totem under the video because it's really important to know how much health you have stored. So we know what you expect. Sometimes you have 1.5 million stored in Cloudburst, and if you don't realize you have 1.5 million there, you'll pop some other healing cooldown that you will need later and just waste it. Or then you're thinking, oh, Cloudburst Totem will be soon exploding, or I can use it again, and oh, I don't need to heal more. Oh, Cloudburst only healing 30,000? Oh no. It's very important to see that. I will link the Vigavra for that. Oh, maybe not under video because important link will be longer. I will link it on my guide on Discord. Just check my Discord under the video and get some Vigavra from there. So for the claw bars, it's very hard to explain when to use it, because it's hard to master, because it matters so much what is happening around you. Like two important notes there, it's healing around you. It's not healing around totem. It absolutely doesn't matter where you place totem. So you can place totem and around 150 yards, it will still heal around you. So don't think about it like totem. It's like cooldown on you. Doesn't care. Totem doesn't care. And the other thing is overheal, as you can see here. Need to use it. Overheal. I'm full health. It's still counting. I'm charging it. I'm healing just myself. So it's even worth it when some huge damage is coming to just feel full this cool burst by overhealing. So you have ready explosion. It's not really effective, but it's worth for some occasions. And I was using it on the previous season in the temple. And that was third boss that was hitting tank a lot and nobody else was getting damage. So I just popped the cloud bars before tank hit, that healing absorb and hit, you need to overheal, and just charge, I don't know, 500k. And because only tank was hurt, that 500k, when I pressed the totem, when tank hit happened, that 500,000 went to the tank. And of course, it was based on healing, it was based on my mana, it was based on my time to do, because it's not effective, but I couldn't heal that 500,000 to single target faster than I did it with totem, with cloudburst totem. So that's possibilities. You can charge it before, or usually how we are using when we are popping some cooldowns, there is hard healing phase, and sometimes it's even long enough so you use that healing, but usually you pop cooldowns, you put totem before the cooldowns, and that healing from cooldowns are charging to the totem. And then after cooldowns finish, you can press the totem and to pop up a little bit more healing. I heal like taking damage, some AoE bursts I'm healing with my cooldowns, and then after they finish, alright, everybody's alive, but they don't have full. Bam, I press totem, and like, I don't know, 500 to million healing is stored. It will just top up everybody up, so they're nice and full and ready for next damage. And just use it as much as possible. Just don't keep 2 stacks if you don't really know, oh, I will need cloud bars here. This is hard cooldown versus safe way to use that. Just play with it and get a big aura to see how much you stored. And if you know, that's all of it. All of it is just storing. Because last set bonus it was increasing 10% critical. We are not having that anymore. So it's all just stored here and used in the right time. And also it's nice to be careful. Like, don't always leave it to explode by its own. Because of course on end of the duration you don't need to spend global cooldown to get a healing. But maybe everybody is full now and you already healed even more and spent even more mana that cloud bars could easily heal. For example, you pop cooldowns, damage ended, group is still not full, so you used, I don't know, 4 more chain heals with Riptides, and now is everybody full, and oh, I have charged totem for 1,000,000 health. Well, overheal 100%, because everybody's full and you wasted, I don't know how much mana, maybe 50,000 on exchange. So definitely, it's cooldown you need to learn how to play with, and you need to keep track of it. But overall, let's say it, simpler cloud bars, you are using it as much as possible and using it to your cooldowns. You are pressing anything ancestral guidance, bam, you are totem, or not even cooldowns, you know you need to heal a little bit more before the damage came. Press the totem, heal a bit, and press totem again to heal that finished damage. Finished. That missing health that people still have after the damage ended. So this cloud bars is definitely alpha and omega of shamans. I didn't really like cloud bars, and I would be happier if we don't have it. But I'm so used to it now. It's really a mechanic I didn't like on Shaman. Just this is something you need to train. with the time. That is really important. Oh, 666 healing. 666. No, this cannot be coincidence. This cannot be coincidence. No. All right. Let me stop it here. Let's start talking about not useful stuff. So we talk about Cloud Burst. Next one is Nature Swiftness. What we are doing here, we are saving mana or saving time, or both of them together. We are using with Chain Heal for healing, to cast it faster, and to cast it with a mana cost that's saving 50,000 mana when we use it with that. Also, we don't want to use instant cast of Chain Heal when you have Tidebringer, because again, I was talking about earlier, 50% reduced cast time is quite a lot, and it will be consumed for the jump distance, but not for the cast time. So it's just better cast Chain Heals, and now our Chain Heals is double the time. That's much more worth it to just cast it with instant. Also good for casting Healing Wave after we use Primordial Wave, and obviously we have a lot of Riptides up on the targets. Third use for it is for Healing Rain, because Healing Rain also have quite long casting time, but this use is for damage. Can be, but even when you don't have time to just casting Healing Rain before some damage coming or something. So it's nice for Healing Rain, and if you really want to pump damage, I don't know, burst, you can use it for Chain Lightning or Lightning Bolt. I use it sometimes, but it's better to just use it for Healing Rain and then just burst Chain Lightning, because you save more mana and Healing Rain's cast time is longer than Chain Lightning, but it's possible to use it like there. Then is my favorite cooldown for M+, and it's Ancestral Guidance, and it's short cooldown, it's 2 minutes usually. Cooldowns have 3 minutes, the big ones, and it's 25% of your damage or healing is healed to the 3 targets. So usually when I pop this one, and I need to say that healing is saving to Cloud Burst. So pop Cloud Burst. Ancestral Guidance, obviously, or Riptide Healing Rain is ready, and there's no way somebody will die. These chain heals you will do in Ancestral Guidance will heal a lot. But usually you can squeeze 5 chain heals. If I count it right, you have Prepare Healed, Cloud Burst, there's the cooldown, there's 1 cast, there's 2 cast, Riptide, 1 cast, because I have that proc. Last cast, I was talking too much, so I didn't get it. Usually you can just do cast manual, then you just edit Tidebringer, then you do instant cast, and you also don't need Riptide for that because it's instant. It's not consuming Riptide, so it doesn't matter if you do Riptide before that, and then you just cast Riptide and cast twice again. You have 5 rain. If you have haste, you can cast more. I cannot now. I didn't notice how much I saved with Cloud Burst. It healed. It's not overhealed, yeah. So just with that cooldown, and I missed one chain heal because I was talking too much. It healed 1 million to Cloud Burst. This is 850. Basically, first cooldown go to is this one, our strongest. Then we have also Ascendance, and it's basically the same. The difference between Ascendance and Ancestral Guidance is Ascendance is not healing from damage. It Ancestral Guidance when you don't want to be bored with doing healing, when you are on peg and you want to really do damage. Shaman can easily be doing 70k on the peg, so you can just pop Ancestral Guidance, and that 70k DPS is enough to pop your party nicely. When you use Stormkeeper, then Ancestral Guidance, that's a huge burst of healing. But we can try that. I hope I can heal these boys next to me. I have to wait 10 seconds. And Ancestral Guidance is much better than Ascendance because Ancestral Guidance is healing 3 targets. Ascendance is healing everyone, every friendly target. What is different Ancestor Guidance is healing the same amount every single target, and it doesn't matter if there are 5 targets or 50 targets. If everybody gets same heal. It's not like I Ancestor Guidance, oh I want to heal 50,000, so I will split 50,000 between all people I'm hitting. No, Ascendance is healing 50,000 to everyone. So that means if you are in dungeon, Ascendance is much worse than in raid, and if you are in raid, Ancestor Guidance is much worse than in dungeons. It's healing the same, but it's not like Ancestor Guidance is worse in raid. It's healing absolutely the same numbers, but if you have 40-man raid, Ascendance is just healing more. So Ancestor Guidance is always doing the same. So think about Ascendance a little bit less, and it's even longer cooldown. And its healing is not saving to Cloudburst. Go for Ancestor Guidance. As far as healing cooldown, shorter cooldown, better performance than Ascendance is not bad. But Ancestor Guidance is a little bit better. And at the last one, we have two. I won't say the last one. It's healing Tide Totem. Finally we have 100% healing increase in M+. So it's finally is usable and worth to click even. Before that, you didn't even click. It was so useless. Sometimes and some taking damage, whatever, but it was so useless. Now it's quite nice. Just keep in mind it's not healing that much, or rather that fast. So if you are pressing the healing Tide Totem, you still need to heal. Keep healing. Just keep healing. Obviously, its healing is not saving to Cloudburst Totem, so it doesn't matter. But you need to keep healing because it's usually not enough when you need to heal some AoE burst healing. Then we have shiny Mana Tide Totem. Mana Tide Totem is not for mana. That's very important. It's nice, we are getting some mana from it, but it's absolutely not about mana. In M+, you are never taking Mana Totem if you are not taking Spirit of Orcus Titan Totem. In raid, obviously, Mana Tide Totem is good one, because it's also regenerating mana of other healers, so it's much more profit. In dungeon, you can just drink. You shouldn't run out of the mana. You can on the high keys and long bosses. But this is for Spirit Walker Tidal Totem. That means we have another extra 10 seconds cooldown on 3 minutes cooldown. And this 10 seconds buff is mana cost of healing wave and chain heals. But it's reduced by 50% also the cast time. We don't care about mana. It's nice. Again, it's nice. We don't. It's nice. A little bit we care, but everything is about the 50% reduced cast time. We don't care even on healing wave. We are caring about chain heal. And usually, even with my low haste, when I pop Mana Tide Totem, I don't have time to cast. Just my global cooldown is shorter because this is 50% reduced cast time, not like haste. 50% haste is something different. And my global is not fast enough. I will pop it. And my global is not fast enough. See, I need to wait before I cast another. So don't even cast the Riptides between it, just spam chain heals. Because usually that's all you have time to do when you have your totem. And obviously combining it with Cloudburst, that's always a nice thing. So you are using this for 10 seconds cast time window for 50% decreased cast time. That's all this about. So it's just extra cooldown, it's not mana. We are not taking this for mana, we are not using it when we are low on mana. We are using it as a heal per second increase on this fast kind chain heals, and also they are costing 0.5%, 50% less mana, so it's not some mana boosting, just spamming these chain heals. I forgot to mention, you can combine Ascendance with Ancestor Guidance and it's healing insane numbers, because they are buffing each other. Like healing from Ancestor Guidance is taking from Ascendance, and Ascendance healing is multiplying by Ancestor Guidance. This little bit funny thing, and you can overheal anything with that. It's maximum pumper. And just keep in mind, you're wasting 2 cooldowns at the same time. Wasting, depend. So keep in mind, you should have some easy healing in front of you, so you don't miss that cooldowns. But if you really need to pump, put it together, Ancestor Guidance and Ascendance, just go for it. Then our cringe boy. There are people thinking it's a healing cooldown. It's not. It's our spirit link totem. Wait, I want to do for science if what happened because this turning damage have 1%. No, it should kill me. No, it should kill me. Keep it on 1%. Okay, that was for science. I needed to know. So what is happening? Obviously we are spreading. Everybody will have same percentage of health. It's not healing cooldown because it's not healing. It's more or less like defense cooldown. It's giving 10% of defense. Is there? Yeah. And then there's redistributing health. Also, it's healing cooldown if you have Blood Death Knight, because he can heal a lot himself, and then heal will be spread to the group. Maybe he just won't like you, but you can use it like that. And it's usually used when, I don't know, strong AoE is better for you if you are using chain, and chain heal is healing 5 targets. So if everybody from a group have same health, or rather, like not 2 of them have 100% and 3 of them have very low, it's much better if everybody have same health, because you are not overhealing with your chain heals that is always hitting 5 targets. And also, somebody is getting heavy damage on a single target, it's better to just everybody save him. Or like, again, that stupid third boss in Uldaman with his bleed, just pop it up, everybody will stay there, and the guy with the bleed is almost not getting damage because it's spread to the group. Obviously, nobody else is getting damage, just that one target. So it's definitely worth to use in that occasion. But again, keep in mind, not healing cooldown, defensive cooldown. Keep it there. Okay, I just said it, but it's a healing cooldown. It's allowing you to heal. Let's say that, because, yeah, again, that you are not overhealing with chain heals. That's it. That should be all from our healing. Let's move on damage. There's a little bit a difference on single AoE. Let's just get to the single. You shouldn't keep your lava burst on 2. And definitely Flame Shock. Flame Shock is absolutely first to go. If you have Flame Shock up, you are casting Stormkeeper to use immediately at cooldown, because it's immediately going on cooldown, doesn't matter if we have a buff. And then we want to use Lava Burst and Empower Chain. Lava Burst and Empower Chain. Why? Because Lava Burst is increasing effective, it's even healing, doing damage by 20%. I didn't include it in healing because when you should do damage with the Shaman, and if you cast healing spell after that, it's not something you really need to keep in mind, but yeah, it's increased by 20% and it's a nice thing to do, to just pump your spell 20% more. So priority, always have Flame Shock, always use Stormkeeper when you have. Don't keep your Lava Burst on 2 stacks. Use that stack extra damage on Healing Rain, or if Healing Rain is up, just use it on Lightning. And after you use Lightning, you need to buff again. I think it's insane mess to what I said. It's making sense, but I can imagine it's hard to listen. So let's try the simple. You want Flame Shock on target. You want Healing Rain on target. I tested it, it's better, even on single target, to keep Healing Rain up. You want to use Stormkeeper on cooldown. You don't want to overcap with Lava Burst, and you want to blast Lightning Bolts immediately when you got buff. So 2 dots on the target, Flame Shock and Rain, Stormkeeper on cooldown, and get the buff from Lava Burst, then go for the Lightning. So don't cast 2 Lightnings next to each other if you have Lava Burst already, or don't cast 2 Lava Bursts next to each other after each other if you can use that buff. And that buff is also empowering Rain and it's increasing the damage from the Rain. So just don't cast 2 same spells. Obviously, if you don't have charge for a Lava Burst, just go just for the Lightning Bolts, that's it. For the AoEs, it's a little bit different. You are spreading Flame Shocks. Also, I like to use Primordial Wave if I know I don't need to heal. You're spreading Flame Shocks. Let me change nameplates better. You're spreading Flame Shocks. Ideally empowered from Lava Burst. That doesn't matter. Better Flame Shocks, and always keep Rain up. That's most of your damage in AoE. Lava Burst only if you have free proc. Otherwise, you are casting just chain lightnings. Obviously, same for the Sunkeeper or Izuzi when you have cooldowns. So we're spreading Flame Shocks. We are keeping Rain. If we have proc, we will get the buff up. Also, do damage. Obviously, focus target that have Flame Shock on. Just keep spreading it. So if you have buff, use it on heal or use it on chain. Obviously, just free cast. If you don't have free cast, don't click the Lava Boost. Just keep spamming chain lighting. Now I got free. I will eat it because it's empowered next to my chain lighting. So again, it's same thing. Flame Shocks and healing rain. Always keep as much Flame Shock as you can. And then we are using that Flame Shocks for instant cast of Lava Burst. After that, we are casting chain lighting because it's empowered. If you don't have instant proc, we are not casting Lava Bursts. We are just waiting for that instant proc, spreading another Flame Shock that will have another chance to get us our instant cast, and just chain lighting hell out of it. Anyway, on your AoEs should be rain, maybe chain if you have really enough time to do damage. But first in damage in AoE should be rain, there should be chain lightnings, and there should be Flame Shock. Lava Burst. Just follow up. Obviously, it depends how lucky you are on proc. Like now, I got immediately. Yeah, that's definitely for damage. I'm a healer. I'm not really good at explaining DPS, but I hope you get the majority what I was saying and a little bit understand what you should pump. If you are a healer, it's not very important, but you can really min-max damage with Shaman. I like Shaman on that because in that Lava Burst proc, you really feel like, ooh, I have some healing rotation. I need to think what I'm clicking is not like, oh, same ability again. Okay, I will click it. It's a little bit more fun as I'm tanking with Shaman. And that would be usually everything I want to say, but we have this other build, and that build is set, full set. Let me swap to it. So this build is even more about Riptides. What we have are set pieces, and you cast healing rate. Each ally with your Riptide is healed. That's nice heal. It's not a little, it's 30,000. And then, every stack of Riptide we healed, we are increasing our healing down by 1%, whatever. But we are increasing our healing or single target or chain heal. Chain heal is obviously 2% because that will be probably too OP. But there's will be even more important for us here will be healing wave because it's much more than chain heal. It's 10% and 2%. It's 5 times. So change for the talents. We are getting these two pieces out because we need to sacrifice something. It's a little damage, and Acid Rain with Stonekeeper is definitely doing much more damage than Lava Surge, Master of Elements. This can be a little bit for healing, but we cannot have everything basically. That's what we are sacrificing. Then we are sacrificing the totems. Manotite totem with Spiral Color. We are getting extra point here, along with Russian Riptide. Obvious choice, because we are going, everything will be about Riptide. Even more. Then we have Primordial Wave increase of after you use Primordial Wave, next healing wave is increased by 25%. And the last thing, Primordial Wave cooldown reduction. So what this means, we are not logging. Oh, I did one mistake. And this talent will change. So we are no longer consuming Riptides. That was the other talent. But this is not like loss. Oh, this is 22% less healing. Let's say in idle world is just 2% less healing. Because if your people is not standing in your healing rain, but they have Riptide, they have 20% increased healing from healing rain. So this is 8% plus 20% because they have Riptide, and then they wouldn't, because they are ranged and they wouldn't stand in healing rain anyway. That means you are lost only 2%. Obviously it depends if they have Riptide and they're not staying in healing rain. If they're staying in healing rain, you lost 22% healing on that. But you can find that healing somewhere else, and we also don't have this 50% mana cost, 50% cast time decrease, but we are using really primordial wave and casting healing wave after that for a huge explosion of heals. I will just demonstrate some little combo of that. Let me start for this boy. I don't know if I need that. So we are doing damage usually, and just applying Riptides. Damage. This one goes. Another target. You are just casting. I don't want to switch targets now. You will cast Another Rain. I will blast it. I can renew Riptide here, and I have 5 stacks. A 50% increase. Healing Wave. That was one click of Healing Wave. One Healing Wave for 573,000 K healing. Tidewaters also is not pumping much, but it's some passive healing you don't need to care about. Stone is stone. And Riptide, sometimes we forget because we are eating them. Riptide is also healing just by existing because it's hot. It's not healing by much. How much is healing? Where is it? Oh, it's 3000 every 2.6 seconds, but it's still heal. That is healing. So by not eating, we also have more heal from Riptide. And so basically that's all what this like mechanic is caring about. Even on AoE and bosses, we are always then casting Healing Rain on cooldown. That Healing Rain will heal a lot because we'll pop the Tidewaters, that will heal everybody with Riptide. Then our Riptides are healing more because we are not eating and they are actually healing. And then we casting every 30 seconds, that's usually short cooldown for something like that. We are casting buffed Healing Wave. You can also, the maximum of stacks is 15, so that is 150% increase to Healing Wave. Also about 95% increase healing from talent, and that you really can do 1 million and more with one cast of Healing Wave. Also, you can, I won't try to pronounce it again, if you have this talent, it's another 50%. So that's our little extra. We are sacrificing 2% or 20% if we are standing in rain. That healing we are sacrificing by not eating Riptides. But now the Riptides are healing, and then our rain is healing to Riptides, and then we are blasting Primordial Wave and always following. With this build we are always following Primordial Wave. With the Healing Wave you don't need to follow immediately, of course you can wait a bit. And we want to use the Healing Wave because it's not so hard to have a Riptide on every single target. A little bit bad with me. I don't have a little bit haste is missing in my build, but it's alright. I can manage because Healing Grind is long cast and you can really feel casting is shorter and global cooldowns on Riptides and something like that. If you have more haste, it feels much better. So this is my main difference. We are not eating it, and we have much better AoE healing when some people are not standing close together and in your healing rain. If everybody's packed together on healing rain, previous build is definitely much better. But this one, I was healing Elephant, Magma Tusk, I think, Magma Tusk, that's it, in Nautarus, and I had 3 Anjet. With this 4-piece Riptide build, it was much easier to heal. And I think I have first in heals. Absolutely first ability was Healing Wave. Even on or strong AoE taking damage, and was tyrannical too, or it was 20. Oh, it's hard to say now which one is better. It's definitely both of them are performing. What is difference? You healing through Primordial Wave and heal. Also, Rain is healing a bit more when you are placing it, and you always want to place it even for damage, because you always want to do damage with that Rain. And passive healing is just nice, and we have more ability if you use that 2 stacks of long jump. When people are not together, you are not even. It's hard to see on this because it's jumping here. and people are not standing closer together, is even harder to heal AoE when we run out of the 100% jump distance. So then you have some higher ground than other build. But from now, I will just update under the video like what is meta now. For now, it's, I think most people even pushing hierarchies are still playing the old one, but there's a lot of people usually in the hierarchies that are playing 4-piece. This one, hard to say. We will see in few weeks what people likes more. Depend what you likes more. I really like the new one because it's something new. I was pushing and playing long hours with the shaman. With the old will so a little bit change for me. Depend. So anyway, also under the video you will find links for some dungeons I'm playing with these two builds. The default build I have some from season 1, but it's exactly the same. Towns are exactly the same. Everything, priority, everything is exactly the same like now. So it doesn't matter if season 1 it plays exactly the same, and then we have some dungeons from this season. I'm playing the 4-piece build there. And also it's that Nautilus I was mentioning. I was in the elephant. It was not the best. I think somebody died there. But yeah, no, it was not that run. It was not that run. I healed good. Yeah, you can check it out, and in my screen over here, you can see what I'm clicking on which target. So you can check what I'm actually doing in the dungeons as you want. If you didn't catch everything what I said, or rotation is much better to see it, and damage rotation is definitely much better to see, like in text form. So you can hop it on Discord. I have this exactly same guide in the text form. Anyway, thank you for watching. If you like the content, don't forget to subscribe, and goodbye.